Hello everyone, Psychosis here, and today I've got another video for you, but this time it's a bit different. You can tell by the title, as I want to switch things around just a bit, and so instead of just talking about metal music, I also want to talk about books and get more into reading because I kind of want to change my life around. And so today, to start it off with, I want to review a book that I've been excited to read, and I just finished last night, and that is Murtagh by Christopher Paolini, or as I call it, Murtagh. Murtagh just sounds better than Murtagh, but it's really just Murtagh. And yeah, I've been excited for this book. As of now, it's the most recent book in his fantasy world of Alegaesia. And I was really excited when I first found this book out because I didn't know it came out, but I saw it and I was like, I had to get it. As you can see, really pretty hardcover. It's reflective, like a mirror effect, but it says Murtagh in the author's name. And as you can see, the art's kind of fun. It's got Murtagh here, and Thorn in the background. And then here's Zarok, his sword. It's pretty cool. And as you can see, it's a chunker. Every book he seems to write is a chunker. This book is is well over 660 pages. Big book. And yeah, really big book. But yeah, in terms of its appearance, it's a really nice cover, really nice book. And then as you can see on the back, he's got all his other books and an illustrated version of Aragon, which I'm excited to see how that differs from the actual one and how the pictures look. But yeah, and starting off with, I really like this book. Short spoil. That's just the short, quick gist of it all. I really like this book, but it's like everything has some problems. So, and there's like only one, maybe one major issue, but it's kind of minor. But yeah, so yeah, and the book has an interesting setting because I wasn't expecting him to write anymore. I thought that was it, but he said in the past he wanted to write more, and so yeah, this book it takes place about a year after the events of Inheritance, which was the last book in the Inheritance cycle, and it follows Murtagh as him and Thorn are running for Alegaesia, but and how they live like outcasts and exiled because they don't want to be caught by anybody. They want to be free. That's a huge theme of the story is freedom and not being enslaved. That's like a huge theme in this book, and yeah, so they want to be free, and that's kind of starts off that way, and everyone's mad at them over the events in the inheritance cycle, and so they're on their own. And it starts off like that, like they're just outcasts, and then as it goes along, it picks up and gets really exciting. But the biggest flaw of this book is it's really slow at times. Like the first 300 pages are really slow for the most part. Like there's a couple bits of action, but it just feels kind of like slow and basic kind of. And then once you get to around 300, 330, page 330, when him and Thorn get to like the place where the villain is, it gets really good. Like in my opinion, like really good. But the first 300 pages are just really slow. There is one part where there's some river monsters action. I'll just say that. And that part is great, but it's really short and silly. But yeah, once you get to 300, it's really 330, that type of page. It gets really exciting because they get to the villain's place. And it's really cool. It's like a whole new region that he's never talked about in the other books. And it's just up north and icy, and it's really cool. And it reveals a whole new enemy faction, and yeah. And the villain, she's really strong. I will say that too. She's a really strong, formidable opponent. Like she's not the strongest thing in the world, but she is like kind of intimidating as an opponent and does get an upper hand over him for the most part. I will say that. I don't want to spoil too much, even though I want to. Every part of me just wants to explain this whole book from start to finish. But this book is really good. And the final battle is pretty sweet as well. It's actually kind of savage how he defeats her, but yeah, I really like that. And the villain, she's this witch, and she just has this sway over people. And leads this like really weird cult called the Dramar. They call themselves. It's really weird, and yeah, but it was really, that part was really good. But the first 300 pages, like I said, the major thing is that it's just really slow, and even then, there's still bits that drag. And there's also fun things too, like he befriends an Urgle, and then he uncovers a conspiracy basically, and more depth about the evils of the king and Galbatorix and the Forsworn and stuff. And then another awesome thing too is there is a mention of the name of names a few times, and Murtagh, he does like something really cool with the name of names and towards the end of the book as well. I don't want to spoil it, but it's awesome in my opinion. Like, I thought it was sick. And yeah. And that's another thing too, is it's fun following the Ford and Murtagh throughout the book as well, because their relationship is way different than Aragon and Saphira's. Like, they're not as closely bonded and they think differently. And also, as you learn towards the middle of the book, Ford has like a really bad phobia, and it leads to a part where he goes absolutely berserk over it and kills a lot of people. But I don't want to spoil that either, because that's like a major plot slash subplot of the book, is that little bit. And he does eventually conquer it, I will say that too. I'll just say it, spoil and say that he does conquer his phobia a little bit, but yeah. And yeah, pretty sweet book. His airship's different, and also, like I said, there's a huge theme with freedom in this book. Murtagh and Florin, Murtagh, they want to be free, and because they've been, it goes in depth about his past as well in this book, and he just wants to be free from all that, being in bondage, being enslaved, being forced to do bad things. He's sick and tired. They're sick and tired of it all, and that was a pretty cool theme of the book. It's a huge theme in this book. It also shows that Murtagh's different. Like, he struggles in scenes of this book because, unlike Aragon, he's not as well experienced of like the ancient language or magic as Aragon is, or didn't get the proper training. So he basically takes like anything he can to like help him or assist him, because he doesn't have the same luxuries or skill like Aragon does. But he's also like really resilient as well over what's happened to him. He's like very resilient and willing to overcome things for the most part, which is what makes it worse. And like, its book, it's really good because he's fights so hard and then falls basically to the bottom. Yeah, but it does. But that all that leads to like the end, and the end is great. Like I said, the final bat scene, it's it's really good. And if you were someone who didn't like the ending of Inheritance, you will probably like this ending better of this book. There's way more action, way more fighting and magic casting, spell casting. And yeah, if someone who didn't like how the Galactorus was defeated in a page, you will like this, because I think it takes him like 10 or 20 pages to kill the villain. And I haven't said her name because I feel like I don't know if it'll be too much of a spoiler either. But yeah, I will just say she's a witch that leads this cult, and they're very weird, very screwed up. And yeah, and he defeat him and Forn. They save the day. They just defeat the villains. They don't exactly save the day. The Dramar are still out there at the end of the book, and it sets up some really interesting stuff. More sequels and more books in the world of Alegaesia. Like, he's got to definitely write more, because I'm now impatient. Because the ending was really good. It sets so much up, and it really builds on like this whole conspiracy, that there's way more to the story of King Albatorix and the evils in Alegaesia than what was originally known or foretold. So it's just really good. And then another thing that's random, I thought was really goofy, is Murtagh meets one character in the book, and for some reason, Christopher Paolini nearly every single time he describes his character, he describes her with pale and drawn. I don't know why, but he does it so much. And I was just kind of laughing because it was like he'd say the name and then it was like pale and drawn, and it was funny. But yeah, that was my thoughts on this book. Book's really good, kind of thick. He always makes thick books, but it's really fun. I love the whole fantasy world of Alegaesia, so getting to sink my teeth in this was great. And yeah, I'll say 8 out of 10 book. Very good book. Just sucks though because the end sets up more, but there's not anything yet. So he's got to write more. So that'll take some years, but yeah, very good book. Nice that he did return to Alegaesia, but yeah, really good book. Just wish there was more. And yeah, the beginning drags. Like I will say, the beginning really drags in my opinion. But other than that, really good book. Good final battle. Like he almost dies in the battle, but yeah, very good. Very good book. And yeah, that was the end of my review of Murtagh. Very good book. I keep saying that, but yeah, it was really good. And I think I'll start reviewing books for here and there. I haven't really read a lot of books in my life, but I do enjoy reading when I do. And the Inheritance Cycle and the whole world of Alegaesia might be like my favorite fantasy world, possibly favorite book series of all time. The Inheritance Cycle, which is pictured here. And I do have all the books. I don't have this book though, this book of short stories, but I have all the other 4 books of the Inheritance Cycle. And like I said, it's probably my favorite series of all time, but it's been probably a few years since I read it. So if you want, just let me know and I'll do a retrospective / review of the whole series as a whole and my thoughts on it. But I do love it, but it's been a minute, so I'd want to get refreshed on the world. And yeah, I'll also check out the short story, The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm, if you guys want as well. And I'll, like I said, review more books. There is one series that I can definitely do a review on right away because I know that series like the back of my hand. It's not the Inheritance Cycle, it's a different one. But yeah, that's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you love I will say though, I should have said this earlier, but I would recommend reading the Inheritance Cycle before reading this book because this book is after that series, the Inheritance Cycle, and a lot of it will make no sense or be kind of disappointing. But yeah, definitely read the Inheritance Cycle. Definitely after you read it, definitely read this book. This book is a really good book. And yeah, that'll be my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, just leave any constructive criticism in the comments or if you have any ideas for a book for me to read. Like with music, I'm always interested in reading new books since I haven't read a lot in my life. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.